So on this part, we're going to see how to create a basic object pool. Okay, there are more sophisticated ways to do this. And yeah, what is an object pool is basically whenever you request something like a bullet or something that you need to instantiate it to put it inside the scene, what we are using is instantiate. Okay, because that can cost performance, especially if we are creating a lot of objects in a short amount of time. Okay, that can lead to an overhead, especially if you are instantiating them and deleting them. We're going to cut this step, and instead of instantiating and deleting them, we're going to have a basic budget of objects. For instance, bullets. We're going to have a budget. We're going to create all the bullets of our budget on start, and whenever we want to use a bullet and basically see the bullet, we're going to place them where we want them instead of instantiating them. And whenever we want to destroy the bullet, or you can guess the bullet hits something, instead of destroying the bullet, the actual bullet, we're simply going to disabling the game object and then putting it back again whenever we want to call it until it's time to call it. Okay, this is going to be a smaller video, of course, and we're going to go into managers, object pool. Okay, now you can encapsulate it a lot of this. You can encapsulate a lot of this stuff, but I want to keep this more more precise to what we are doing over here. You can see that everything has to do with game object. Okay, I can encapsulate all this into a single one, into a single function. That's no problem, but to be able to be easily readable on a video, yeah, I split it up like this. But for every object we're going to use an object pool for, we're going to need two things: a list of previously game objects, our budget for those objects. You can see for our bullets 100 is enough. Okay, and our current index, so basically where we are inside this list. If our budget is too small, and you basically can calculate how much of the budget you're going to need, and you have to take into account your overall performance budget for this, or you shouldn't be wasting resources a lot, especially depending on your target platform. And yeah, if you only have a budget of 5 and you're firing, let's say in 1 second you're firing 10 bullets and your budget is 5, then inside that 1 second you're going to see your 5 bullets go forward and then move back before they are and then move back before they are getting destroyed, before they are supposed to. Okay, so just keep in mind with the budgets. Same for the grenades. Okay, same for the bullets, the same thing for the grenades. Same for ground break budget. It's the particle that whenever you break a node, okay, we have a few garbage that as a particle. And same for the explosion small budget is those little flashes that go when you hit the node. Okay, this little white stuff that flies around, that also is this. Okay, now I was pretty much I was pretty favorable with the budgets, especially for this one. This ones you can go with 10. I think with 10 will have been just fine. Okay, doesn't matter, you can play with the budget. We want a prefabs, of course, so that we know what we want to create, and we also need parents for this. So on start, what we are going to do is going to create game objects. I didn't change the names. I didn't do this from script. Change the names, and we have a game object that has all the object pooling, and this is, as you can see, the parent for all bullet prefabs. Okay, so we have 100 bullet prefabs because we have set 100 for our bullets, and whenever we want to use one of these, we are simply placing it in the position we want it and enabling it. Okay, now you can see that the bullet projectile controls both its speed and its life, and it's also what it does forces to the rigid body, to its rigid body. So we also need to see these scripts, bullet projectile and grenade projectile and all that. Now, when we initialize this, we clear everything, and what this does is, of course, goes and if it finds any of this, any parent, then it's going to delete the previous parents. Okay, and we clear all our lists. It's also singleton, of course, and we have the object pool type, what we need, what we want to request. So you need to do this if you want to add another object. So for instance, you might want to have a flamethrower or whatever, or rockets. Okay, just do pretty much copy paste every line of this, copy paste it and change the name to the appropriate one. Okay, we create new game object for everything, for our parents. We parent everything under the object pool parent. We find our prefabs, we have it inside the resources, and we create the budget. So create budget, what it does is, depending on the budget we pass over here and where we want to parent it and the list we want to add them. So we have a for loop for as much as our budget. We instantiate a new prefab, we close it, and we parent it under the parent we pass over here, and we add it also into that list. Okay, pretty straightforward and pretty easy to get. Then when we're requesting an object, so for instance on the previous video we were inside handle shooting, inside bullets. Okay, instead of having an instantiation over here, I go and say object pool. I've already set up my object pool over here and set the reference from the singleton. Object pool, request object, and I want object type of bullet. So it's going to come over here inside the switch statement. If the bullet time, the bullet index is greater than, is greater than how many we have inside our list, inside our count, it's going to reset it back to 0. So if there is a case that you need 100 bullets for more than the life of a single bullet, then you're going to see repeating bullets. Okay, you probably will never going to see that many bullets on screen on time, so you're fine. And then we're going to say our return value will be, the game object will be the current bullet on the current index we have, and we're going to add on the bullet index. Same with the grenade, same with a ground breaking, and same with the small explosion, which is those white flashes. Okay, as I said, we can pretty much simply encapsulate all this very easily. Okay, but yeah, it's not even this way is not even a problem. Okay, so this is how you object pool, basically some of the basic forms of an object pooling. Now let's see our actual prefabs with with our bullets. So what the bullet does and what the bullet needs to know is, we need of course all these namespaces, and notice that because we use this for networking also, we use our projectiles for networking, we need to have a few more stuff over here. So for the bullet projectile, how we move our bullet forward, we need a reference to our rigid body, move direction, who is the owner, the speed of the bullet, and the life of a bullet. We initialize this. If the rigid body is null, then the first time you're going to use this bullet, it's going to go and assign a new rigid body to D, and it's going to set it up over here. It's going to set the gravity scale to 0, freeze rotation to true, move direction the direction we're passing, and it's going to add, of course it's going to assign the owner to whatever we pass over here, and it's going to add direction on the rigid body, move direction, speed, and force mode to D will be on impulse. So on impulse it's going to add this on that direction the speed we have over here. On fixed updates we also have a debug draw array, just so that we know we're moving towards the correct side. Okay, of course you do not need this. We do a recast forward, and by forward I mean on the moving direction we have on our rigid body for the distance of 0.4. If we hit something, and here's where we go into more advanced stuff, then we're going to have a few checks that have to do with multiplayer, and that's why we need Unity Engine networking. Okay, if it's network server active or it's an active client, then it's going to look for the input handler that is specific for the multiplayer. Okay, and it's going to use hit collider, git component parent, all this. It's going to assign it. It's going to request from the object pooler, okay, explosion small. It's going to get the hit point. It's going to place it on the correct rotation, which is the opposite move direction we have. Okay, you can see the calculations we have over here. It's nothing sophisticated. All this comes from from basically test and changing values. Set active, and it's going to close this game object. Okay, so you close the game object of the object pool. If we didn't have an object pool, you were going to just destroy this game object. Okay, instead of destroying it, we simply disable it. And if the network server is active, then it's going to go on the character and add player damage. Okay, we're going to see this in depth later. Then we're going to see if we hit a node reference, and if it's not null, then we're still going to request from the object pool the explosion small. Okay, the same values. We're going to enable the object pool, this particle. We're going to disable the bullet prefab, or the bullets, not the prefab, and apply local damage. We start with true. If it's either the client or the server, or the network server is not active, then it's going to apply local damage will be false. So this is handled on locally. Then if apply local damage, that means you are local in single player, then map controller, okay, add damage to node, the type we want bullet. We've seen this 2 or 3 videos ago. Network server active, if it's also active, okay, if we do a little bit of damage, then on multiplayer it's the server that handles if you destroy a node or not. So we have inside the multiplayer there is an RPC, add damage to node, and you need to pass the current node, or basically not the current node, you need to pass the ID of the node, since this will have to go over the network. Okay, the network, for the owner you need to pass the network ID and map controller damage type. Okay, this has to do a lot with multiplayer. Okay, there's some stuff, or there's a lot of stuff you cannot pass through the network, so you need to break them up. Okay, integers, network ID is an unassigned integer, and the damage type is also, enums are also integers. Okay, this is basically what you do with your bullets. Now, if your bullet didn't hit anything, we just add on a life, Okay, and then if it's higher than the life, then we reset the life, and we also disable the game object. So instead of instantiating and deleting, we use the object pooler. Let's see grenade projectiles. Rigid body, move direction, speed, and the explosive prefab, it's the explosion. Max life, life. We initialize with direction, layer. We set to be the props layer. If you have a different number, then set that different number. We get the component, we set the gravity scale, the move direction will be the direction we are passing. Okay, we've seen this, where all this start from. And they are inside the handle shooting. This is for the grenade, this is for the bullets. And let's go back, not pull, grenade. At first, move direction, we add the force to our grenade. We also want to add a little bit of torque, so it's not so it looks like a grenade basically. And we reset the life. On update, we add life into our grenade, and if the life is greater than the max life, then that means it's ready to explode. We call the explosion from the object pool and we set it up. We also need to get the component for destroy after time, which is inside this object pool. Now it says destroy after time, but as you can guess, the actual script, it doesn't actually destroy it, it only resets the life and disables the game object. We add sec to the camera. Okay, this is only locally, of course. If a grenade goes on multiplayer, every player handles it locally. Game object set active false. Apply local damage will be true. We start through. All this, again, we've seen this. Map controller. And since this is a grenade, okay, if we are applying local damage, then we need to call on the map controller to register distraction at position, and we've seen what this does. And what it does is, okay, it finds nodes that are on this position, and it finds neighbor nodes, and it sets them up and destroys them depending on what you need to do. Network server active, if it's also the server, then it's going to send to all the clients register distraction and position, which is for multiplayer. We're going to see that in a bit, but basically it goes with the clients and run this function. Okay, but that is again for multiplayer purposes. Okay, we've seen bullet projectile, grenade projectile for that works with the object pool, and for the prefabs we have ground break prefab. This doesn't need to close, since it's only a particle system. You can close it, you can add destroy after time, though it wouldn't hurt. Okay, explosion small prefab, it has the particle over here, and it also has destroy after time, which we have seen. And there's actually no hurt in adding into the other one. So let's go over ground break prefab, destroy after time. Okay, and after 1 second, although if that's not enough, then you can either change the life or just make this public and set the bump individually. It wouldn't matter. Okay, and so that it disables this object after a bit. Now I think we've seen everything. Parallax mover, we've seen this. Okay, rotate skybox, we've seen that. Say camera, start screen. Start screen, I think we've seen it. Basically, it has just the animator, game object, LT, if we're loading. Okay, so it basically just adds the time.delta time, and enables or disables, it makes the text flash, and if there is any key and you are not already loading, then it loads, it starts the coroutine and loads the main level as single. Okay, that's it. And projectiles, we've seen this. We have to see the network, managers, level editor, all this. Right, so we're now ready to go with the next video, to go and see and do all the cool stuff with multiplayer. Okay, so the next scene we're going to see lobby scene, setting up the lobby scene, passing references around, if players are ready, starting the game, and yeah, after that we're going to see syncing levels through the network, and on the final one we're going to sync all players together, and we're going to, yeah, after that I think we are pretty much finished. So I'll end the video now. You know what to do. Click that like, click that subscribe, and if you like what we are doing and want to see it continued, then consider supporting me either on Patreon or on Gumroad by buying a project or 2 or 3 or 5, including this one, and I'll see you next time.